Hello everyone, welcome back to MEP Basics. In this video, we're going to learn how to do this. Let's get started. Alright guys, welcome back to MEP Basics. In this video, we're going to look at how we can add circuit. Now to do this, select the panel. Alright, that's very important place to start from. Now once I select my panel, I'll come to Circuit Manager. Okay, and this will open this dialog box for me. Now remember the information that we added earlier on. So if I select this panel and I come here, our 230 volt didn't reflect, sorry about that. So it should be 230 volts. And when you come to this place, now you see that all the information that we added to the panel is here. Okay, it's a 3-phase 4-wire. The AIC rating, we didn't put anything over here. The mounting is recessed. The enclosure, we didn't provide information about that. Okay, but the voltage level is 230 400 volt. Okay, and when you come to the panel rating, everything, okay, the type and then the rating, everything is here. We said that the main rating is 100 amps and then the design capacity is what, 125 amps. That's very important. So, and we can later extract this information and use it for other purposes. So what are we going to do now? Come to this dB here, and what I'm going to do is now I want to add circuit. Okay, come to this, the bottom left corner over here, and it says what, create new circuit. So I'm going to click this and I'll come to what, new power and lighting circuit. I'll click this, but something will happen. It says that the electrical project database file is missing or currently unavailable. What is this file? It says that an EPD file manages electrical panel and circuit data, okay, and must be specified in order to share electrical loads across multiple drawings. So let's go ahead and then create a new EPD file. Okay, so I'll click that, and I want to save this EPD file in the folder that I am working. Okay, so go ahead and locate the folder you are working in, whatever folder that you are working in. Go ahead and then locate it and make sure you put it right there. Okay, very important. So I'm going to call this power I'm going to call lighting and power. Okay, data. Okay, and I'm going to save this. So now we have created the EPD file, so we can go ahead and then add circuit. Okay, all right, so I'll go ahead and call this circuit, if you like, bedroom 1 and 2 lighting. Sorry about that. So the name, this is the name of the circuit, and this should be L1. You can choose to name this T1, you can choose to name this V1, you can choose to name it whatever you want, but I choose to call mine L1, and it relates more to lighting. Okay, L1 lighting circuit 1. So now what's the circuit description? I'm going to say that this is what, bedroom 1 and 2 lighting. So I know that this circuit on this breaker controls bedroom number 1 and 2. Very important. Now the total load, we are not going to populate that over here, it will be populated later. And the rating, I'm going to put 10 amps. Okay, the voltage levels, I'm going to choose 230, and then for this I'll leave the rest. Okay, we'll come back to this later. All right, we're going to discuss this in detail later, so don't be too worried. So these are the panel properties. Okay, now already I know that I have 3 circuits, so I'm going to go ahead and then add another circuit and call this new. And what am I going? I'm going to call this L2. Okay, I'll call this L2, and then I'll call this, the L2 is what, living area and porch, what, lighting. Okay, again, I'll put it on a 10 amps breaker, which is not really necessary, but for the purposes of our studies, I'm going to do that. Okay, so you can choose the system over here as well. So I'm going to choose this to be lighting. This is a lighting system. And if I come to L2 also, I'll define the system over here and call this system a lighting system. And they are ceiling. There are further things you can do. These are lighting mounted on the ceiling. Okay, these are lighting devices that are mounted on the ceiling, but I'll choose what lighting. I'll just do lighting. Okay, all right, so let's go ahead and then add the third one. So I'll click on this, and then I'll do new circuit. No, sorry, I'll do new over here, and I'm going to call this L2. Okay, so you see how we are grouping this. We are doing, sorry, this should be L3. This should be L3. You see how we are doing this whole thing. I'm going to call this kitchen and WC lighting. Okay, again, I'll leave it as it is. Okay, and that's also going to be a lighting. Now you see what is happening here. All these are lighting circuits on the panel. Very important to note. L1, L2, L3, they are all what? Lighting circuit on panel. So if I draw this down, you're going to see these are all what? Lighting circuit, light and power. Okay, so this is a whole circuit file. So that's not the end. So I'm going to dock this one to left. I'm going to anchor this to left. Okay, so now we have our three things here: the tool palette, the properties palette, and then the circuit manager. Now what are we going to do? I'll go ahead and select all the lighting. Okay, remember that we identified this as our circuit number 1, this circuit number 2, and this as circuit number 3. Technically, I can put this into 2, but I want you to appreciate the concept of circuit. Okay, so I'll come to circuit properties, click on circuit properties. Okay, and then come to this place. Now what do we want to do? There's only one circuit that we have created over here. Okay, and what I want to do is to, for the items that I have selected, I want to do what? Put them on what? Over here you can select. So in a project where you have multiple panels, let's say I have DB1, I have DB2, I have DB3, you choose here what DB to put the load on. Over here I'm going to choose DB1. Obviously that's the only panel that we have, so I'll choose DB1, and then here I said that this is what? L1. Okay, that's this. Now we have the opportunity to put some figures over here, but I don't want to go into that now because we've not even specified the load. We've not specified whether this light is 5 watt, 10 watt, 12 watt, 20 watt. So it will be very difficult to tell the load that is going to be here. But let's just say that the load in VA, okay, is going to be, let me say, now what you put over here will be multiplied by the number of items that you have selected. Now, for the purposes of this video, I'm going to put a fictitious value over there, even though that is not what represents the truth, load of the items that I have selected. But for the purposes of this video, just for educational purposes, I'm going to put 10 here. Now what happens is that if I put 10 here, it is going to multiply this 10 by the number of elements that I have selected. What I'm basically saying is that each element over there is rated as what? At 10 VA. Let me go ahead and then put, if you like, 5. So what I'm basically saying is that every element I have selected is rated as what? At all, the maximum load it carries is what? 5 VA. So I'll go ahead and select this. So you see, I selected about 6 items, so you multiply the 5 by the 6, and that gives us what? 30 VA. Very important. The category is lighting. All right. Yeah. And the sub load category, I'm going to leave that empty because the only option I have here is motor. This is a motor, and the overcurrent protection that we are going to use for this is I'll use 10 like I specified over there, and power factor I'll use 0.8. okay, don't forget this should appear in all our dealing. So 0.8, that's it. So I'm going to select okay. Now how do we know that this is indeed connected to the panel? Come to your circuit manager first of all, and you realize that the load has changed over here for L1. Okay, and all these properties have changed. The load category has changed, the system voltage, everything is defined over here. You understand? So, and you remember we used a 1.5 mm cable for our wiring, and they are all here. So that's very important to to note. Now another thing we can check is to select this, and I'll right click this, or I'll say show circuited object, and it's going to tell me that these items here are the same family, they are in the same circuit. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to add this so this group will also be in what? One circuit. Let's go to circuit properties, and again I'm going to select this panel. This time around I'll do L2. Okay, and I'll choose, for the purpose, let me do 8 or 10 for this. Doesn't make sense anyway. And remember our power factor is what? 0.8, and the maximum overcurrent protection I'm going to use 10. Okay, and boom, that's that. So again, I can select just one of these and say that what is the circuit, the connected object, that is that. Okay, so it's important to note this. Another thing I would want you to note also is, look at this. If I select this and I come to power totals, okay, this tells me that the lighting load is 40 VA. I've not added any receptacle, and this is showing the power element also, the power properties also, because I said the circuit is a lighting and power circuit. That's very important. So apart from lighting, there's nothing else that I have added. Okay, so that is that. So I'm going to choose this circuit properties. I'll choose DB1, L3. I'll say this is 15. It's lighting. I'll use 10. Power factor is 0.8. Okay, so now if I go to my circuit manager, okay, if I come to my circuit manager for this power and lighting circuit, look at what is happening here. It has populated everything, and the interesting thing over here is that this is telling me that for the lighting circuits that I have, this is the demand factor, the demand in kVA, and these are the properties of what I'm doing over here. So it's very important to understand AutoCAD MEP if you really want to take your design to the next level, because there are a lot of manual works that you're going to avoid. Okay, there are a lot of manual works you're going to avoid. So L2 has its properties here. Okay, L1, L2, L3, they have their own properties here. All right, so that's very important to note. Okay, all right guys, so we've come to the end of this very video. Also, the next thing I want you to know is that we are going to talk about how we can add some labels to everything that we have done, and that is going to be very brief, I promise you that. Then in our next project, we'll look at how we can do the power plan. If this video really has helped you, kindly subscribe and then share with others. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.